Monday morning starting at 7 a.m. George Phillips, Stephen Wells, and Claudia Tenney, the Republican candidates for Congress, are going at it for the first time head-to-head in studio. I'm extremely excited. And George Phillips now is on the line. Good morning, George.
Good morning. Thanks for having me on the show.
So we're getting close. Of course, Monday is a big day. What are the issues you want to hit on come Monday?
I want to focus on our upstate jobs plan. I've talked about it a lot on this program here, but that's the number one issue in the region. We all have family and friends who have left this area because they can't find good jobs. I've been a teacher for almost a dozen years in upstate New York, and so many of my former high school students and college students are leaving the area once they get a good education here because they can't find jobs. I do believe I have something unique, tax and regulatory relief on the federal level that the state has to match. People say to me, George, the state's causing our problems here. What are you going to do on the federal level? Let's set up empowerment regions in the states. Let's have the federal government give the relief, but make the states match to lift up our entrepreneurs, to lift up our small businesses, to get upstate New York going again.
One of the things that in the state did, I was just reading Griffo. Did he pass? It was an unfunded mandate bill that he got passed. That's part of the problem is that the state and the feds love to hand down mandates, and then they're like, all right, well, good luck with that, and find a way to pay for it.
And mine's the reverse. Mine's reverse. It's putting a mandate on the state to lift the burdens off the taxpayers instead of putting more burdens on the taxpayers.
Right. George, I do have to ask you, and I've gotten several people that have sent me photos, and it goes to your signs that are down in the Binghamton area, and I just want to give you a chance to respond to it. And it talks about, for the first time in is it 50 years? I don't have the sign in front of me, that Binghamton's finally going to have a congressman. And I think that people up here are taking offense to that and fear that maybe you will be giving some favor to the people of Binghamton and not representing them as equally if you become congressman. Can you respond to that?
If I'm elected to Congress, I'll take an oath to the Constitution of the United States to defend it. This president has trampled over the Constitution with illegal executive orders and growing government far beyond the means that the Founding Fathers intended. I will take an oath and a pledge to all the people in this district, all 719,000. For those in the Mohawk Valley specifically, what I can do specifically is look to defend the assets we have at Rome, the federal contracts we have there, and also try to look for recruiting, helping local leaders recruit private sector capital investment to the Marcy Labs and to the Rome Labs. My plan, my Upstate Jobs plan, is very akin to that because it calls for tax relief for capital investors in empowerment regions. So those are the things you could look for. Everyone's talking themselves up in their home areas. I think that's the bottom line here. We shouldn't make a big deal just about signs or Phillips is talking himself up in one area. Wells and Tenney are talking themselves up in their home areas as well. But I do believe Tenney's given us a huge opening in her home area, and I'll tell you why here. You should do well in your home area. Why did Marco Rubio lose Florida so badly to Donald Trump? He lost one of the big things. I talked to a friend in Florida, missed votes. The friend said to me, I can't believe Rubio missed so many votes. I know that's being raised with Tenney. And I know in this program she said she missed 500 votes in one day. I talked to a assemblyman that never had more than 100 in one day. So I think the missed votes are big. I think, maybe it was on another program, but I heard tape her saying she missed 500 in one day. It's a lot of votes, and there's never that many in one day, according to other sources in the assembly. Also her divisiveness. We've talked about it on this program, but I'd invite viewers to go on Syracuse.com. It talks about the lawsuit she brought up against me that was trying to disenfranchise sick elderly voters from taking part in a petition process. We won overwhelmingly, and she belittled the court and said, the court dismissed this because they felt sorry for Phillips. She insinuated that I'm not campaigning in the rest of the district. Nothing can be further from the truth for myself, for my team. We've knocked on doors in every county. We've been to almost every town. We've had events in every county. We're fighting for every vote. We're not going to get every vote, but we hope to touch every heart. And then the big name endorsement. I got an endorsement from the American Conservative Union, the top national conservative organization in the country. I think that was a real turning point in this race for conservatives in the primary.
And let's talk about that. Because
she called the group a disgrace.
Yeah. It is one of the oldest conservative groups that you'll find, maybe the oldest. And I guess I don't know how she should react to that. I mean, that was a pretty big blow, I think, to Claudia Tenney to not get that endorsement. And so I guess I would say, how should she react? Probably, I'll ask you, how should she react?
Well, I would just say, okay, well, if I had an endorsement that didn't go my way, I'd say, well, they endorsed my opponent, but I'm strong on these issues too. I think she magnified it and showed the divisiveness and the opening, I think, for us, for people here in the Utica region in the Mohawk Valley, that if you're going to rely on name-calling, if you're going to insult reputable conservative organizations, the American Conservative Union was critical to the rise of Ronald Reagan. I think voters want something different than that. So I think it was a huge positive boost for us, and then I think she turned it even into a better gain for us by the name-calling and the insulting them.
All right. Yeah, that story is up there at Syracuse.com. I did read it, and yeah, I'm not sure that was the right. I'm not sure it was the right move. We'll find out though, and we speak with Claudia later in the week. And of course, looking forward to Monday, George, when you, Stephen Wells, and Claudia Tenney will be on for the debate. We appreciate your time.
Hey, I had one more big news endorsement. If you want to follow it on Facebook today, Steve Forbes is endorsing me today.
Wow!
And I'm just a history teacher. I've done work for the Jack Kemp Foundation, and my wife can attest to it, how many late nights that she'd be calling down to the basement. When are you coming to bed? I love working on economic policy issues, and I think Mr. Forbes was impressed by my work on tax reform, on monetary reform. The Fed is in way too deep. The federal government and the big banks are in, and the fix is in. They've bought $3.5 trillion in Treasury bonds that are helping Wall Street, but Main Street is struggling, and I've talked on this program and others about more choices in health care. That's a big Forbes issue, so we're excited about the big name endorsement from Steve Forbes, as also endorsed by the former Veterans Secretary, Anthony Principi. He was campaigning with me this week in Rome and Utica.
All right, George, we will speak with you on Monday. We're really, really looking forward to it.
Thanks so much.
Okay, George Phillips, of course, along with Stephen Wells and Claudia Tenney, are running for Congress. That's it. We're back here tomorrow. Enjoy your day. It's First News Keeler in the morning on WIBX.